Hello everybody and welcome to Books. Today's video is of course sponsored by Dr. Pepper, so go ahead and drink some. Today we will be talking about the Monster series, the sequel trilogy to Gone. In Gone, all children under the age of 15 are isolated inside a dome. But in Monster, the chaos happens across the entire world, so things get pretty crazy. In the first book, our four main characters, Decca, Cruz, and Shade, ingest some of a strange alien meteorite that has fallen to Earth, and end up receiving strange and unique powers. This meteorite falls all around Earth, so hundreds of other people also receive the powers, though not many of them are revealed in this first input. The villain of this book is a person who, you guessed it, also received powers. Yes, it's a superhero book, and chooses to use them for evil. This person is basically just crazy. He doesn't really have any other motivation. And they do the whole crazy storyline pretty well, but I feel like you should go into a little more detail on than that on a big, epic book like this. He has kind of a power that I thought was strange, but they did pretty okay. He can morph into this weird starfish bug thing, except really, really big. Now, Villain, Book 2, I don't really have much to say about it. It was probably the worst one, and it did things kind of like Monster. Our three main characters, now with a fourth one, Armo, in addition to Decca, Shade, and Cruz, have to take out an evil villain who also received some rock-born powers with the cost of human life. But Hero, the final book, was actually a really good book and miles above the other two. In Hero, the villain is, yes, someone with rock-born powers, but instead of just being some plain, ordinary person who randomly decided to become evil as soon as they got powers, this person was a massively morally incorrupt businessman who used the powers in a profitable and efficient way to conquer large sections of the eastern seaboard. The villain's name is Bob Markovic, and I really like how they laid him out. He was a money-seeking businessman with not much of a moral compass, but he still did have quite a bit of charisma, and was even sort of likable. He had the power to turn into swarms of insects that could inflict deadly diseases on his victims. So yeah, pretty scary, and definitely better than the other two villains. With the help of Sam from the original Gone series, they are able to take the bug man Bob Markovic down using a clever plan that is too detailed to talk about here, but before I get into the ending of the book, there is one other detail I want to mention. Drake is a villain who has been in the Gone universe since the very beginning, and he's made very well. He's psychotic, he's charisma, his personality is very well laid out. There's just one thing wrong with him. Whenever he is in a fight, he totally loses. He's just ridiculously underpowered compared to everything else, and it makes all the other scary aspects of him seem weak. He only remains alive throughout all 9 books, thanks to some Deadpool-like regeneration powers. I thought in Hero they would somehow buff him up and give him real powers to make him the real villain. But no, he just remained the same ordinary guy with Deadpool powers and ended up getting dissolved in a tub of acid. Now, Hero didn't end with Bob Markovic dying. It actually ended on a much more unique and existential note. Using a fourth dimension, the group of supers discovers that they have actually been living inside a simulation the entire time, but they do have the power to shut it down. They are left with a big choice. They can let the simulation continue, let villains ravage the world, and let people continue to suffer, or they can end it now and it all goes blank. At the end of the book, all the heroes take a vote, and then the book ends. It's not exactly a total cliffhanger, though. In the end, Michael Grant explains that he would like readers to continue finishing what he started through fan fiction. This is sort of a good idea, and I can see how a fan fiction about this might be good or might be terrible, and there is definitely some groundwork for a fanfiction that Michael Grant cleverly laid out. C, while I was reading Hero, I discovered several plot holes that I believe to be intentional that Grant may have put there for writers to use. I'll show them on screen and read them aloud in case you're interested. First point, Drake's arm never dissolved in acid, so he could be still alive. Second point, there are at least 4 more supers from the 7th comet. Third point, some of Markovich's bugs may remain, so his mind may still exist. There could be other plot points that I overlooked, so feel free to go through these books yourself. In the meantime, however, that's all for today, so have a good one and keep an eye out for future videos. Also, drink Dr. Pepper.